journalist Sarah Vine is with us now. She's been making headlines after talking for the first time about her hair loss.
Yeah, it's something that Sarah's lived with since she was a teenager, but now she's sharing the reality of life with alopecia to help others. She joins us alongside Dr. Zoe. Great to have you here this morning, Zoe. And Sarah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's extraordinary to see you, Sarah. We've interviewed you plenty of times.
I've always had my wig.
Yes, you always have. And I never had any idea that it wasn't your own hair.
No, it was a very good wig.
Why now? Why did you suddenly decide?
So I decided, I don't know, I wrote a book earlier this year, a memoir, and I think I'm on a being truthful. I'm having a moment where I'm just trying to be honest about myself. And I went to see a dermatologist for something else, actually, and we started talking about my hair loss, and she took a look and she said, well, I think maybe I can help you. I mean, it started when I was 14, 15, 16, and I'm very old, so there weren't any treatments back then. And the general consensus is that the longer you've had it, the harder it is to do anything about. Mine is hormonal, it's androgenic, it's what used to be called male pattern baldness,
right, okay.
which is obviously lovely. They do now say female pattern baldness. I think they try to be a bit nicer about it. But I just decided that I would go. So I went to see her. She said, I think I can help you, but you can't wear your system. You can't wear your hairpiece because I need to be able to get to your scalp. So I thought, OK. I thought about it for about a month. And then I thought, right, I'm going to try and do this because I'm 60 in a sort of year and a half, 2 years. I thought I'd quite like to have my own hair for my 60th birthday. And it is a big palaver as well. And it's also...
What, using a hair system?
Using a hair system, it's time-consuming, it's expensive. And also, it's just... I mean, I sort of kept having those sort of moments, like in The Substance, that film, where I'd sort of take my hair off at night and think, oh, God, you know, I present this face to the world. But also, I know that a lot of women have this problem. It's really quite common. It's a lot more common than you think. I think it's like 35%. I mean, really very common. And I just thought it is the last taboo. And I do have quite a good platform. And I would quite like to normalise this condition. You know, it's a difficult condition to have because it's not life-threatening. I'm not going to die because of my hair loss. But it does affect you, or it has affected me sort of psychologically over the years because it's quite demoralising because women are defined by their hair. You know, I'm sitting here with two fabulous women with fabulous hair, you know, and it is a big thing. And when I was growing up and I didn't have the nice hair, you know, it can be quite limiting. You know, I wouldn't go to discos because I was worried that if I danced, I might sweat and then it would look thin and everyone would stare. Or I stopped swimming. I was a really good swimmer, actually, but I stopped swimming because every time my hair got wet, it looked really thin and I was really embarrassed about it. So things like that, it does limit the way you are. And I think... It really affects your self-esteem, you know, in relationships and things like that. You just feel so grateful if anyone even looks at you because you think, well, I've got no hair, so, you know. So, yeah. So I just thought, lots of people have it. It's not much fun. If I talk about it, maybe it'll make it a bit more normal and people can talk about it and not feel so embarrassed about it.
So did you ever find out what caused it? Is it hormones? And what can this lady who says she can help you do about it?
In my case, it's a combination of factors. I have a very underactive thyroid, which can cause hair loss, and also a really strong genetic predisposition. Plus, I had a very stressful childhood, and I think that was sort of... I mean, they do say that you can have a predisposition to it, but it doesn't necessarily have to be triggered, but the stress can really trigger it, and I think that was probably what triggered it in my case. And it is hormonal for me. I mean, there's lots of types of hair loss, but in my case, it's androgenic. And so, for example, when I was pregnant...
did it all come back?
Well, it didn't fall out. So it didn't come back, but it didn't fall out. So the thing is, it grows, but then it falls out when it gets... I get these little tiny pathetic hairs that don't really make
Baby hairs.
Yes, yes. And then they fall out. So when I was pregnant and full of, you know, pregnancy hormones, it all stayed in. So that was quite interesting. But then as soon as I stopped breastfeeding, it all came out again. So, and it just got progressively worse, actually. And you know, over time, as you know, when you've had long-term hair loss, the follicles do sort of shrivel up and die, don't they? And then they're quite hard to... But the thing is, over the last, I think about sort of last 10 years, there's been a lot more treatments coming on stream. So I'm going to be doing a combination treatment. I mean, I'm rattling with pills. I'm taking all sorts of pills and stuff, and I've got a lotion, and I'm going to be having some treatments, PRP, I think it's called. Yeah.
Yes.
So, so we're doing this sort of attacking it from all different angles. I mean, it might not be successful, but I just think even if it's not successful, I can be myself, and maybe other women who have this can feel less rubbish about it.
No question. It's really interesting hearing Sarah talk about it, because I've known Sarah for many years. Yeah. You've had a public profile for many years as a writer and a broadcaster and a commentator and all of those things. And to suddenly see you sitting here as your full self is quite striking. I think it's incredibly courageous, personally. I know you won't think that.
No.
But undoubtedly, Zoe, from your perspective, what Sarah's doing is going to make a massive difference.
100%.
To women who'll be sitting there at home.
Yeah, I think you're really courageous as well. There will be literally thousands of women watching this programme right now and who will watch it on Catch Up, who will completely relate to what you're saying, because this is a very common problem. So alopecia means loss of hair, and there are many different types. And this type, it is similar to the male pattern baldness, but in women it's a different distribution because the hair follicles on the head that are sensitive to hormones, to androgens, are placed slightly differently. But it's extremely common. But I think my advice really just to say anyone who is experiencing hair loss of any type, first port of call is see your GP. There are some types of hair loss, if they're diagnosed early, can be treated, that actually can cause permanent hair loss. So, you know, there are autoimmune conditions, there are vitamin deficiencies, hypothyroidism, PCOS. There are lots of different types, so really important to get that diagnosed and get early assessment from your GP.
I would say if anyone's got this problem, or if they're starting to get this problem, you're completely right, get it treated, because the sooner you attack it, the more likely you are to be successful. I mean, you know, it is really about that.
Yeah. But there are some types that actually there isn't a huge amount that can make a big difference.
If there are people sitting out there, Zoe, are there things that they can do, like lifestyle changes, diet, vitamins they can take? Is there things like that?
I mean, B vitamins are very important, aren't they, for hair?
Yeah.
Iron. Often if people have got low iron, that can be a factor that does make your hair fall out, doesn't it?
Yeah, so there are certain things to think about with our lifestyle that can look after our hair. It won't necessarily prevent all types of hair loss. So thinking about your diet, you know, you need protein, you need healthy fats, you need iron-rich foods and zinc. A lot of people take biotin. Now, biotin is often promoted as a remedy for hair loss, but it's only effective if you're actually deficient in biotin in the first place. But won't take you any harm if you want to try it. But regularly washing the hair, I think this is a really important thing. If people are shedding, because so much hair comes out when they wash their hair, they can feel reluctant to wash their hair and think that the washing of the hair is what's making it come out. Actually, regularly washing and having a healthy scalp can help maintain your hair. When you wash your hair and it comes out, that follicle, that hair is already detached from the follicle that's coming out because of the tension. It's not the washing that's making it come out. So that's often one of the biggest mistakes people make is they stop washing their hair as much.
Sarah, can I ask, you're sitting here for the first time without your hairpiece on, your hair system. How does it feel?
Bit chilly.
Liberating, though, in certain ways.
Well, it's funny. I was just saying, it's a bit odd because a lot of people think I'm ill. So people have been really sweet to me. So it's really easy getting taxis at the moment. But the thing is, I'm not ill. You know, I'm not. This is one of the difficulties with this condition. Is that you feel really guilty for being so worried about it, because it's really, you feel like you're just being really vain, because it's not life-threatening. You know, there are lots of people with much worse problems. But the thing about it is, it's just, you can't hide it because it's on your head. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, you know, you either wear a hat or a hairpiece or a scarf because it's just so visible. But it's quite interesting because walking through the studio, like, people do stare. And it's not, they're not being rude. It's just that it's such an unusual thing to see. And I think that's the thing. I'm boring on about it, but I do quite want to normalise it, because I know if I went shopping in Marks and Spencer's, people would look at me, and I don't really want that. You know,
Sure.
I just quite like to be able to. So there's that thing of, you know, it defines you totally. It becomes everything you are, because you are just the bald lady, and that's just that. It sort of begins and ends there. Do you know what I mean? So that's the difficulty with it, I think.
Look, I think
apart from the chilliness.
Yeah, we'll warm the studio up, but thank you for coming in and sharing it. No question, and we wish you all the best with the treatment.
Well, I'll come back.
Yeah, please do.
Maybe I shall come back with a great big head of hair.
Fabulous. Well, fingers crossed.
Oh,
hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.